And here we are. Welcome everyone. I should have known better though. This is still the loser brackets round at 3 or third round rather. I'm just going to remove this. Should have known better. But yeah, we're gonna have FreakinAndy in the red color. We're gonna have ACCM in the blue color. There we go. And for the civilizations on the right hand side, we see that ACCM is playing with the Lithuanians. FreakinAndy on the left hand side is playing with Gurjaras for game number 1. We're going to talk about the civilizations in one moment. So, just finished 4 night shifts. Walk the dog now, getting us for breakfast. We're going on holiday. Where am I going on holiday? Where are you going on holiday? Hey, Dancer! No Elephantus? Yes, Elephantus, my man. We have a war elephant on this map specifically for the players to scout with as well. We have talked about this guy in the past. It's a retired one. Hey, Turnip! Hi. Welcome back as well. I made a little change to the new emotes. Basically, before we had Hi, we had Lurk, and we had Ad Squad for free, available to every viewer. But I decided to move Lurk over to the subscriber emotes, so that way you're going to be able to use it elsewhere. Hi, there are so many channel-specific Hi emotes. I'm not really sure if there are quite as many Lurk emotes, and I think this one is good enough that you might want to utilize it on other channels, so I just moved it over to subs only so that you'll be able to use it elsewhere. I actually think this is probably one of the best Lurk emotes that I have seen. So yeah, now you can use it anywhere. Hal's still going to be sub only. Hi and Ad Squad are still going to be free. I got a few Lurk emotes. You do, yes. Oh, it's nice with one more. Let's go. Yes, sir. In any case, let's go through the civilizations over here. Starting with the bull player, ACCM is playing with Lithuanians. That means that he gets 150 extra food upon starting the game. On top of that, we're going to see for the civilization, 10% fast move and skirm. Spearline units, as well as for the team bonus, 1 extra attack on Knights and Lychai. What am I talking about? That is not the team bonus. That is the third bonus for the civilization. Knights and Lychai, 1 extra attack per relic, up to 4 relics garrison. And for the team bonus, indeed, they do get 20% faster working monasteries. Beautiful. For FreakinAndy playing with Gurjaras, he's going to begin with 2 additional berry bushes. On top of that, he gets the ability to garrison herdables and the fishing ships. The herdables will produce food passively inside the mill, and the fishing ships, of course, will be protected against aggression when garrisoned. And then in addition to that, we also see for Gurjaras 40% extra bonus damage from mounted units, and for the team bonus, elephant and camel line units, or camel type units and elephant type units get trained 25% faster. If I'm not mistaken, I still sometimes do mix up some of the bonuses for some of the newer civilizations, but hopefully that is correct. Interestingly enough though, FreakinAndy is going for a forward dock. Alright. Meanwhile, ACCM, he's got the dock over here kind of backish. Or at the very least closer to his base, and FreakinAndy definitely has covered more ground going forward to get the dock up over here in a place that's going to be closer to ACCM's side of the map than FreakinAndy's side of the map. And this way, he'll be able to start putting aggression in. As you can see by him going up to the field earlier, he's going to try and claim water control over here, while ACCM seems to be making a play for a fast castle approach of sorts. Is it a pretty heavily favored matchup for Gurjaras? Well, it should be. Lychai, they are still very strong. We have seen them even take on camels, but with the extra bonus damage that the mounted units for Gurjaras make specifically, I think even Lychai are going to struggle against that. I don't remember if we saw Gurjaras versus Lithuanians a lot, but just going off the civilization bonuses, I would say, yeah, they're probably going to be pretty good. But we'll see, of course. ACCM could very well get away with fast castling over here and put too much pressure for FreakinAndy to hold on against before he is able to get to the castle age and before he's able to get to camels. So, as always, right, it's going to be some advantages on paper for certain civilization matchups, but it's always going to be about the players. We have seen this time and time again. Oh! FreakinAndy is struggling against the crocodile over there. Still taking damage, I think? He's still taking damage. Damn. Okay, there we go. He trapped the crocodile. Now he's going to finish building this. So that is the second dock already. And if we take a look at the ACCM's point of view, he knows about the first one. He's going for a second dock himself. It's going to be in the fuel age very soon. Meanwhile, FreakinAndy's got the first fire galley on the way. He's got the second dock already up, but does not have... Okay, there we go. Second fire galley is coming up right now. And ACCM gets to the fuel age and immediately goes for the fire galleys. This is really good for the blue player. Not only has he been able to keep his uptime somewhat, you know, within arm's reach of FreakinAndy's, but also he's going for fire galleys over here to defend himself just a little bit after FreakinAndy is going for his own fire galleys. Plus, ACCM has had efficient ships to work with for the majority of the time. So if we take a look at gather economy time, it should be favoring the blue player quite a bit. And it does. It does. And at this stage, already 10 minutes into the game, having half an hour of extra gather economy time is huge, guys. It's gonna be worth about 400 to 600 extra resources. All things, all else being equal, right? So yeah, hey Rorana. Hi. Sakujaras versus Lithuanians on the triple regicide map yesterday. That was... Yes, you are correct, indeed the case. We did see the light chat go down to the chakram throwers and the camels. Now that you remember it, yes. I'm not really sure if the different map is going to make too much of a difference, because over here they are going, or at the very least they are going a lot more heavily on water compared to yesterday, where the Lithuanians came out on top over there and still did not really manage to take the game, right? Is the relic sitting behind red? We do have one relic over here, two relics by the looks of it. By the way, FreakinAndy is doing a lot of damage over here. He actually baited the fire galley back with the zone fire galley, and he'll be able to take the fishing ship down over there. That is so close! There we go! The fishing ship goes down. Beautiful. And let's take a look at the relic distribution. Yeah, that might actually be the case. So we have one relic over here behind FreakinAndy, two relics behind the red player. And I believe there might be a third relic somewhere around here. Is there not? What is this little white speckle that I see in the minimap? I'm actually not really sure. Let's just switch over to resource view. Yeah. Yeah, the relics are certainly favoring the red player over here. We actually have 3 on the left-hand side, and there is only 1 over here on the right-hand side. And I guess this one is going to be kind of neutral, but it's still closer to the red-hand side, I think, compared to blue. We'll see. In any case, the situation on water seems to be stabilizing, but take a look! Take a look at this! Take a look at this! ACCM is already aware of the archer ranges, and what is his reaction? I don't see any towers coming up. I don't see any archer ranges coming up. FreakinAndy already has 4 archers! About to come out, boys! Then water. ACCM is going to end up getting full water control, yes. He ended up taking a few fishing ship losses. FreakinAndy could still go for demolition rafts if only to take the rest of the fishing ships down, right? We'll see. While we wait for the demolition rafts to come out, I'm just going to keep this selected so that we know when the archers have garrisons. But yeah, I'm very curious as to how many fishing ships, if any, he'll be able to take with the demolition raft over here. Oh, there we go. The archers are coming out. So I imagine FreakinAndy is gonna try to create a diversion over here on land so that he can get a good set of damage shots. So there we go. The archers are taking a villager down. Might be more than that, actually. The quick wall's coming up over here. We'll keep the villagers a somewhat safe distance away from the archers for the most part. And then taking a look on water, it seems like FreakinAndy did not take the opportunity to land some good damage shots, but that's still going to be really good. 2 villagers going down. Make that 3 villagers very soon. Yes, sir. Make that 4. Make that 5 villagers down the drain. For ACCM to FreakinAndy's archers. And while the blue player is going up to the castle edge, and we were expecting him to be the first one to go up, he is gonna be up with an economy that is significantly smaller compared to FreakinAndy by the time the red player is done taking the fishing ships, is done taking the villagers. Or will he though? The idle TC time over here counter for FreakinAndy is extremely high indeed. And I don't think he's going after the fishing ships in the end, or at the very least, it doesn't seem like he did go for it. He doesn't have demolition rafts anymore, so he didn't really land any big shots against that. And the archers, well, the archers, they have a lot of catching up to do over here. FreakinAndy is still behind by 13 workers, while ACCM is gonna be 1H ahead. So, these archers need to take, I would say, at this stage, probably more like 15 villagers for FreakinAndy to be ahead. And the ACCM's got a few skirmishers over here, and also to push FreakinAndy's units away. It doesn't seem like the red player will be able to compensate for how much of a villager deficit he's gotten up until this point. So it just calls a GG right there. And wow, that was a fairly quick game number one. Yeah. Shumi, you are 100% correct. The idle TC time over here for FreakinAndy was too high. In the end, he cannot really compensate for it, and while we saw Gujaras come out on top against Lithuanians in a previous hybrid map, that's not going to be the case this time around, and once again, just goes to show, right? It's about the players, more so even, than about the civilizations. For military, we have a... well, you could say better KD for ACCM. It's still 1-1, so it seems like FreakinAndy actually ended up losing something to Gaia. But it's very close. It's very close, and only one extra loss for FreakinAndy over there. For economy, however, ACCM did get himself in a much better position because of the earlier fishing, right? And if we take a look at society over here, we're gonna see, for the majority of the time, ACCM was ahead in worker count. And that includes the fishing ships early on. FreakinAndy's delayed dock over there might have been caused by him either not being too familiar with the map and realizing about the water too late, or just planning around this very specific strategy and just not being able to pull it off for the most part, probably just struggling to execute on it. Anyway, well played. I have a little bit of a new feature on my channel. You're going to see it's not something particularly big or anything, but check this out. And OBS is dying again. Yeah, this is just so... I don't know. It's going to fix itself in a moment. So, guys, if you're not subbed to the channel, you might have gotten the commercial. I'm not really sure if you got it before or not. But yeah, the feature that I just showed is basically just a commercial alert, so that you would hear a auditory cue, an oral cue, and you can just mute the stream if you don't want to listen to the ads or whatever you want to do. Let me know if you got it. Also, I need some testing to know when the commercials are starting compared to the message. But yeah, without further ado, let's see if we can keep on going with the game over here. Hopefully OBS is going to stop freaking out soon. Let's check. Nope. Oh, is it? It's still freaking out a little bit, so... This is not my computer, by the way. It's not that it's not good enough, it's just that OBS seems to have a bug by which, whenever we transition to the game scene, OBS decides to take 100% of the GPU for whatever reason. It's not Capture Itch, it's not the game, it's OBS, and it happens a lot. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And if you've been watching the series in the past, you will realize about it. So yeah, I'm very sorry about that. Doesn't seem like there's much I can do other than just wait, and eventually it does kind of go back down to normal. So sorry about the delay. But there we go. It normalized now. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, once again, it's just something with OBS. It seems to be a bug in the program. Regardless, game number 2 is here. Spanish for ACCM. FreakinAndy is playing with Portuguese. Both these civilizations will be very strong in nomad style maps. However, for reasons that, well, Spanish, for instance, for reasons that might actually not really matter over here. For anyone who might not be familiar with this map, the players will begin with 2 groups of villagers and a pack TC. One close to the center of the map, and one in an island over here in the corner of the map. So we're gonna see over here as well. FreakinAndy's got the villagers. He's not transported them over just yet, although the players do begin with a transport ship already from the get-go. So the way you do it is usually you... Does he have a... Oh, he's got a dock over here. Usually you transport your pack TC and your villagers, and you're just trying to find a suitable spot to unpack the TC, right? So we're going to see ACCM, for instance. He's going for the TC right next to a wood line over here, on top of the mangrove terrain. Somewhat close to 2 golds, but potentially exposed to water aggression. Meanwhile, at the center, we see the TCs unpacking. On opposite corners, the center lake, so the players will be able to capitalize on the fish equally over here without really being under too much pressure from the other player. At the very least, until somebody gets to the fuel agent, you know, decides to go for a tower or so. The ATC is a demo territory, this one. Yeah, true. It'd be interesting to see for sure. Oh! This is huge, guys! There we go! The transport ship goes down for FreakinAndy now. He'll have to create another one in order to get the villagers out of here. So that's gonna be a little bit of extra economy that FreakinAndy's gonna have to invest just to get the villagers back to the center island. So yeah. Well, let's take a look at the bonuses. I was talking about Spanish being a very strong nomad type civilization, and even though this is technically a nomad style start type map in a sense, because you do have the pack DCs and you have to unpack them, you don't have to build them actively. So Spanish usually would be very strong because they do have faster working builders, which means usually on a standard nomad start map you'll be able to get your TC up a little bit sooner, potentially sooner enough that you'll be able to get a villager lead with it. But that's not going to be the case over here, of course. Besides that, we see for Spanish also no gold cost and blacksmith upgrades. They get 18% faster attacking gunpowder units, and for the team bonus, that's going to be actually for team games and not specific to and not useful to a 1v1 situation. Meanwhile, for FreakinAndy Civilization, Portuguese will also have a team bonus that is not relevant for 1v1s. However, they do get 30% faster research and upgrades, as well as 20% cheaper gold cost for military units and 10% extra HP on navy units, as well as access to Phaeteria. It is 30% faster research and upgrades, right? It's supposed to like 20 or 25. Let me just make sure. Yeah, technologies are research 30% faster. All units cost minus 20 gold. Ships plus 10% HP. Okay. Okay. So I guess all units costing 20% less gold means that it's not just going to be military units that are going to be cheaper for them, but also the trade cards, right? But for all intents and purposes, for a 1v1, it's going to be just military units. If you, meant for monks also being military, obviously. And they are. By the way, yes, they are. So. ULH here ready for ACCM. And we see the tower come up at the center immediately. The way you expect that to be the case, as we have already established. Once the players get to the FULH over here, whoever gets the tower up first gets to, well, not necessarily control the center, right? Because we could very well see the red player try to go for a for a tower over here, for instance. He will be able to push the blue player away from here and away from here, but we're going to see the tower instead come up over here for, yeah, FreakinAndy. All right. Hey Simon, hi. Well, still going to be good enough for FreakinAndy to push ACCM away from this area, and ACCM does react with the counter tower himself. Yeah, we see more towers coming out right now. ACCM is actually roaming around. He's gotten 2 towers up near the lake over here, and now he's going over to the center. He's trying to get the quick walls up, and he's gonna be able to do it by the looks of things. FreakinAndy won't be able to deny this tower, so he's going for his own defensive tower over here as well. And this is a huge spot for ACCM to get the tower up, as he'll end up pushing FreakinAndy away from the gold. Prevent him from getting access to the wood over here as well, and yeah, it seems like ACCM gets the tower up, and FreakinAndy's losing a villager over there! He's bringing some villagers underneath the tower to try and take it down, try to better it down, but we have enough villagers over here for ACCM to defend themselves successfully. That's gonna be 2 villagers going down already from FreakinAndy, and that is without taking into account the fishing ships, which FreakinAndy has also been losing, and that's gonna be GG! And my lord, ACCM is already up. Forgot to update the score, by the way, before jumping into the second game. That's gonna be GG extremely quickly from FreakinAndy. Does not want to keep on going against ACCM over here. My lord, we've been live for only 30 minutes. And this is already 2-0. And of course, game 3 is gonna be match point because of it. So let's just go through the achievements, although I don't think there's too much for us to take a look at over here before jumping back. For units, well, better KD, for sure. 6-0 for ACCM. For economy, we have a stronger economy for FreakinAndy, interestingly enough, but it didn't matter. By the way, I think we had FreakinAndy going up to the Castle Age, right? In a moment, and the ACCM did not seem to be on his way up anytime soon, so I don't think the game was over. Even if it was certainly looking better for ACCM or Oops. There we go. Didn't seem like the game was over at all. 1,000 extra resources, like exactly 1,000 extra resources for FreakinAndy. Sure, he was losing the fish and ships. He was losing villagers. Interestingly enough, he was on the same work account compared to ACCM, but yeah. That's gonna be about it for game number 2. FreakinAndy not gonna be the one to try anymore. ACCM 2. FreakinAndy 0. Hey, this time around there is no lag. And yeah, welcome everyone to game number 3 then. As discussed, this is gonna take place in 4 quarters. So 4 TC style map over here. The players will certainly struggle to keep up with everything that needs to be taken care of on a map like this. And we'll see that ACCM is getting 1 TC, 2 TCs, 3 TCs to work. The 4th TC is now getting to work only about a minute into the game already. Meanwhile, FreakinAndy seems like he already had the TCs working for the most part, and that is to say the villagers, right? And what do we get over here? For anyone, once again, who might not be familiar with the map, each quarter is going to have a different type of resource available in it. Up in the north, we'll see land food, land-based food, such as hunting in the form of deer, in the form of boars. We have berry bushes, and we have even herdables, right? So we have sheep. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, we are going to have predominantly stone over here. It's going to be a stone-only quarter, except for the starting gold that players will begin with around every quarter. And then on the right-hand side, it's going to be just gold. Down the south, it's going to be water-based food and the starting gold. So there we are. And yeah, it's a very, very attention intensive, let's call it. I think that's a good way to put it. Attention intensive type of map. The players will need to keep track of so many things. Even if we already have a somewhat established meta or game flow, it's going to be pretty difficult for the guys. So taking a look at ACCM down the south over here, what we'll most likely see. And by the way, same civilization for both players. We're going to talk about it in a moment. But yeah, what we'll usually see the way this goes is we see we see aggression down the south over here by demolition rafts in the fuel age, so very early on into the game overall. Then, as the players make a transition into the castle age, which doesn't really take too long, given the quadruple TC start, your economy like just booms so hard. Once we make a transition to the castle age, we're going to see players try to make play for 4 castles and quadrant domination, quarter domination. So the way that I suggest going about that is trying to get control of the left-hand side quarter first, because here is where you will get all your stone from. So let's say that FreakinAndy was able to get to the castle age first, and he's going to be the first one to go to the field age. But let's say that he was the first player going up to the castle age. If he managed to get a castle up over here, for instance, right? Or potentially even on the hill. Right there. And then he was able to get... he was able to get another castle over here on the left-hand side. He basically denies this, right? And all of the other stones from the bull player. And we could very well see him get full map control like this, because if he's the only player with access to stone, he'll be the one to be able to go for castle drops in the other quarters as well. Love this map. It's a great one. Hey, Flower and Dancer, Kilts should get the Elephantos. Every civilization should get Chonkers. Of course. In any case, let's see. Fuel just here ready for FreakinAndy. Very close to it. ACCM is only now going up. And second dock's on the way. FreakinAndy is very close to having enough to go up to the castle age and shouldn't really take too long. And he's going for a galley! Wow! No demolition raft over here. We have seen just so much potential for damage. And notice, ACCM, the moment FreakinAndy gets to the fuel age, he's like, nope. He's just noping the crap out of this, going for full walls over here. Because he knows demos can be extremely deadly, and FreakinAndy, well, I guess is not really going to go for it anyway. So ACCM is quote-unquote wasting resources and villager working time by going for these walls, because demos are not coming in, and galleys will still be able to shoot over the walls. But yeah, the possibility of damage by demo shots is so high that I think FreakinAndy should at the very least have gone for one anyway. And then make the transition for standard galleys. Like, imagine one big demo shot over here can take more than one fishing ship down right away. So yeah, villager going down over there to the galley. So it's already paying off for FreakinAndy. There we are. Now the fish ships start to go down. The thing about the galley play over here is that it's a much safer bet, right? Because demolition rafts, if you do not find a good spot, and if your opponent's paying attention, and given the stage of the tournament we are in already, ACCM is surely going to be familiar with the meta of this map. The thing about that is, if you're paying attention and then your opponent cannot land a good demo shot, the demo gets kind of wasted. Meanwhile, the galleys over here, they do take significantly longer to get any damage done. Of course they do. And especially if your opponent's going to make a play for fire galleys, it's going to take a good amount of galleys for you to be able to clean those up. But if it does work out for you, it's going to be a much better unit to keep, right? It's going to be a much better unit that scales so much better as well on the castle edge. Once we get the War Galley upgrade, and FreakinAndy's going for it right away. Should be able to take care of all the fire galleys over here. Should be able to even go and take the TC down, because honestly, ACCM doesn't really have the means to defend himself against War Galleys over here from FreakinAndy at all. And interestingly enough, well, we'll see FreakinAndy in a much better position in that regard. Only 5 seconds away from the War Galley upgrade, and these fire galleys from ACCM obviously won't do much of anything. So FreakinAndy's taking this, taking the fire galleys down. It's not even close. Here we go. Beautiful. Yeah, and now the fisher ships are going down. We have fire ships for FreakinAndy. We have War Galleys. The War Galleys will outrange TC already if he gets Bakinaro. He's going for Bakinaro right now. He cannot really do it. It's going to be 6 for both of these. Actually 7 for the War Galley. Now with a Bakinaro upgrade, that's going to be 8. The right hand side. FreakinAndy is going for a forward castle as well. This is not the location I want to see a forward castle from FreakinAndy, mind you. I would definitely have preferred for him to go for the castle forward over here, so he would prevent ACCM from getting access to stone. Especially when ACCM was so much later to the castle age. What is he really going to do? He cannot really counter castle, right? And he cannot really put a stop to a forward castle with TLH units. Now that ACCM has any, honestly, on the left-hand side, he only has a villager, so FreakinAndy, in my opinion, would be much better off going for the castle over there on the left-hand side. Try to get full left-hand side control, so he prevents ACCM from getting access to stone whatsoever, and then just try to, you know, castle drop the rest of the quarters. But in the end, he will still end up getting a full quarter over here, going in his favor down the south. The amount of navy we have from FreakinAndy is significant, and ACCM is just bound to lose all the docks and bound to lose the south quarter, so it's not too bad for FreakinAndy anyway. Even if he's behind the worker count a little bit, that is not going to be the case for much longer, as ACCM is ultimately going to end up losing all the villages he's got down the south. And we have over 20 villages over here, so ACCM is in for a world of pain. Hey, Gokihan. Hi, welcome. There we are. Beautiful. Fantastic. Just a matter of time until the TC gets taken down over there and ACCM loses everything down the south. So let's take a look at the other quarters. Basically, FreakinAndy's got the south quarter control kind of guaranteed. There isn't anywhere near enough navy for ACCM to fight FreakinAndy off. Sorry. So the right hand side, we see the Golem coming out. The Golems. The Golem coming out from FreakinAndy, and with the TC down already, ACCM can only garrison so many villagers inside the castle over here, up to 20, and he's got, well, 34 villagers, right? So we'll see a good amount of golems come out on the right hand side, and FreakinAndy is going to clean this up, or at the very least is going to be able to get a bunch of these villagers for sure. Needs to keep on going for a few more though. Left hand side. Forward castle attempt from ACCM, and FreakinAndy already has enough resources to go for a castle of his own, so he could very well end up going for a counter castle to defend himself on the left hand side, or a defensive castle up in the north over here to prevent ACCM from putting too much extra pressure over here as well. We're finally seeing FreakinAndy going full steam down south. Take all the fortifications down. Love to see you guys using the hi emote as well. It's so nice to see you saying hi to people. And on the left, it doesn't seem like FreakinAndy realizes about this though, at the very least not yet. Probably will realize about it once ACCM gets the castle up. There we go, ACCM was trying his best to hold on. Hey, there we go. Hi, Carly. War castle on the way for FreakinAndy. He doesn't really need it. Just with the war galleys, he would have been able to clean this up already a long time ago. The towers and the TC has just not been making use of it. On the left-hand side, we see the Gulam coming forward from ACCM and FreakinAndy. Well, FreakinAndy has gone for the castle up in the north. He's gone for the castle over here down the south. So it seems like he might end up losing the left-hand side, though. He's still struggling to keep up with worker count right now compared to ACCM. 129 for the bull player compared to 102 for FreakinAndy. Kind of feel like the red player dropped the ball a little bit in this one, when he should have been the one getting the lead of the stage, already having to fight Gulams with villagers over here. Certainly not ideal. And at the very least, it still has access to stone over there, but that might not be the case for much longer. If ACCM gets it his way, of course. And this is what I'm talking about, right? FreakinAndy's got more than enough Navy over here to take all of the south control. He's going to take the villagers down. He's going to take all the fortifications down from ACCM down the south, but unfortunately, this is only going to allow FreakinAndy at most to catch up in worker count compared to ACCM. So the fact that the bull player has been able to put so much pressure over here is nothing short of remarkable. Now on the right hand side though, this is big. FreakinAndy is prioritizing gold control over stone control. So on the right hand side, if he ends up getting the right hand side quarter and ends up getting the south quarter, and he's going to take the south one, he takes the TC down. That's going to leave FreakinAndy on 2 quarters controlled, while ACCM is going to have 2 quarters control himself up in the north and then on the left hand side as well. Of course, right now, FreakinAndy is looking better compared to ACCM in the north and the west, compared to ACCM in the south and the east, of course. So that is to say that FreakinAndy is looking better in the quarters that he has not lost just yet. Although, it seems like this one on the left hand side is gonna be kind of gone very soon. As FreakinAndy is trying to get a defensive castle up, he's losing a lot of villagers to the Gulam. And the castle's coming up for ACCM. There's no stopping this one. So we could see either siege or petards come out for the bull player. You know, the Gulam over here putting a lot of pressure. FreakinAndy dropping to close to 90 workers. And with the castle up over here, ACCM will be able to prevent the castle from coming up for the time being. He's going to lay it. And we see the siege workshop coming up. So ACCM will start going for armor elephants. Yes. Up in the north though, the Gulam are coming over from FreakinAndy. He's not giving up in the north, despite ACCM putting a lot of pressure. Yeah, FreakinAndy is taking some villages down over here, idling a bunch of ACCM's economy as well. And the game is not over. The game is not over. Not even close. That's what I thought for game number 2 as well. And we saw FreakinAndy call a GG. So I'm not really sure if the game is going to continue much longer than this. I'm certainly hoping that it's going to be the case, and that hopefully we'll get to see. Let's take a look at that. That hopefully we'll get to see. There we go. A full series or close to it. Nice trade on the right hand side from ACCM, despite the fact that FreakinAndy is actually the one putting pressure. And up in the north, still very much up for grabs. There we go. A lot of villagers went down over there, but the Gulam certainly helped, and FreakinAndy is going to stabilize. He managed to get the castle up on the left-hand side. We have armor elephants coming out for FreakinAndy. Meanwhile, ACCM ACCM went for the Siege Workshop a while ago, but he's not really going for any armor elephants whatsoever. Now FreakinAndy, he pulls some of the villagers away from the TC on the left-hand side. Is going to try to go for a TC elsewhere so he doesn't get completely shut down if he ends up losing this TC, which should be a matter of time given the castle location of ACCM. But of course FreakinAndy can still salvage this TC if he is able to take the castle down, and he's going to try. Up in the north, another forward castle coming out for ACCM. He's got some petards coming out, and I imagine... Oh! He's gonna try to bust through over here up in the north. I thought it was going to be petards on the left-hand side to try and take the castle down from FreakinAndy, but he's coming in up in the north, guys. He's about to bust through, and there we go. Beautiful. So now, the Gulen camp come in, and ACCM is paying attention, but so is FreakinAndy as well, who's going to immediately react over here, garrison the TC, and send the villagers over to the right-hand side, up in the north. Meanwhile, in the east, we'll see a defensive castle coming up for ACCM. That's going to be the second one. Meanwhile, FreakinAndy's got a single castle to work with himself, and given the fact that the game has kind of stabilized for the most part over here, it seems as if the players are just going to make a play for the Imperial Age over here and potentially try to go for traps. We'll see. If that ever comes down to be the case, then ACCM should be in a better spot with 6 castles versus 4. Nice defense on the right hand side, ACCM. With the Gulan. He's getting the castle up. FreakinAndy was still trying to go for armor elephants over here, but ACCM realized he should be able to take care of this. Yeah, just fine. He's got a golem over there. These are basically rams, so the armor elephants are going down pretty soon. Raids on the right hand side from ACCM as well, while FreakinAndy is still somewhat close in population. Is not quite as good for the red player as it seemed at the very beginning when he was the one, for the most part, getting south control, and he was the one the better prospects in this game. It's raid from ACCM, takes a village down over here. Yeah, and the TC should be able to take care of the rest of the Gulam. Meanwhile, on the left hand side, in the west, we'll see FreakinAndy go for a forward castle. Against ACCM, there's not a castle that's really going to deny too many resources. Definitely would have preferred to see it come up on the right hand side over here for FreakinAndy for sure, but if he gets this one out, that could be the first step towards extra castles coming up on the left hand side for sure. Meanwhile, up in the north, the game's still, or the quarter is still up for grabs. FreakinAndy is getting ahead in military count compared to ACCM right now though, still behind in worker count, but given the amount of TCs we have to work with over here, it shouldn't really take too long for FreakinAndy to catch up over there. What I'm very curious about is, what has gather economy time looked like so far? We take a look at it and we see that it's looking better for ACCM by about 3 hours or so compared to FreakinAndy, and that is going to be a lot of resources. That's going to be thousands upon thousands of extra resources the ACCM has been able to collect so far compared to FreakinAndy. And certainly makes sense as to how ACCM has been able to stay ahead over here, despite how precarious its position looked in the early stages of the game. A nice raids on the left hand side. FreakinAndy is not paying attention. This is the kind of stuff that allows ACCM to stay ahead. How many villagers went down over there to the Golem? 10 workers around the stone mine over there. Damn. All right. Here we go. Beautiful. Yeah, and then on the right hand side we'll see FreakinAndy kind of getting the same going against ACCM, right? How many golems do we have over here for the red player? Yeah, we have only 4 Gulam, but FreakinAndy so far has been able to take 32 workers down. Damn! FreakinAndy still not paying attention on the left-hand side, meanwhile on the right-hand side. There's so much to keep up with. There's so much to pay attention to. I say every time that we have this map, but it's true. ACCM still has not reacted to the Golem up in the north. He's lost his entire economy in the northeast over here. And my lord, those Gulam, they are still going to keep on getting more villages down. ACCM is not paying attention whatsoever, so that allows FreakinAndy to come back into this game, guys, with a higher worker count. And now the same compared to ACCM for the first time in a while. My lord, military count still higher for ACCM, but FreakinAndy has already managed to get to a position where from this point onwards, it doesn't matter the gather economy time is better for ACCM. All that matters is who is able to keep up the best with everything that's taking place. And I think this might end up being the longest game on this map that we have seen so far. At the very least, it's the closest we have seen on this map so far, I think. But yeah, of course, it's going to be a matter of player stamina as well, because what do you do if you have to keep up with so much for so long? Eventually, you're going to be mentally drained and won't be able to keep up with the game quite as well. And we'll see who between both these players is better able to keep up. ACCM being the older, albeit much more experienced player, has been through games like this in the past multiple times, while FreakinAndy not so much, but he's also a younger player, so I think that there's probably going to be kind of a wash over there. We'll see. Hey CD, hi hi. Hey, at the very least, ACCM realized about the Golem on the right hand side up in the north, and he was able to clean those up. On the left hand side, ACCM took down the TC, the extra TC from FreakinAndy. And there's one thing that I haven't mentioned before, by the way, and that's another reason why you might want to get control of the left hand side. If you end up getting full control over here, right, you're going to be the only player with access to stone. You can go for extra fortifications around the map, but there is a neutral market that's only present in the left hand side quarter. So if you end up getting pushed away from the gold quarter on the right hand side, you have the possibility of trading, if I'm not mistaken, over here with the neutral market. So that's kind of a double whammy for the left hand side one. You might want to prioritize control of it. ACCM is looking strong over here. It seems like FreakinAndy doesn't really have too much left over here at all, right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I believe the villagers we see inside the castle over here for FreakinAndy, those are the only units he's got left on the left. Whoa, but he calls the GG right there. He's still fighting on the right hand side. He's got full south control. In the north, it seems like ACCM was looking a little bit better, but once again, this is a situation where it doesn't seem to me like the game was over necessarily. And FreakinAndy is just going to go on and call the GG. So ACCM is going to be the one moving on, guys, to the lower bracket semifinals. While FreakinAndy ends up getting knocked down over here, we're going to have final score of 3-0 in favor of ACCM. Well done. Taking a look at the achievements, we're going to see for military a stronger KDE for FreakinAndy. For economy, a much stronger economy for ACCM. We were expecting him to have a few thousand extra resources collected because of the higher gather economy time. Society is going to reveal a higher villager max count for ACCM, however, towards the end of the game, it was quite clear that he was picking up some momentum. Although at the very end, it was kind of tapering off, right? In the end, we see 136 villagers going down for ACCM, if my quick maths are correct. And for FreakinAndy, we're going to see 165 losses. My quick maths are correct indeed. So it's very interesting that both these players ended up producing the exact same total amount of villagers throughout the duration of the game. which is not necessarily always going to be the case, of course. You're not always going to be in the same amount of TCs after you get past the castle age. You're not always going to be able to keep up with everything at the same time. So, in any case, ACCM doesn't stop moving on, and FreakinAndy gets taken down. Now ACCM is going to move on to face one of the losers from the upper bracket semifinals. We'll take a look at the brackets to see what that's going to be.